Welcome to Hope After Deportation. My name is Jonathan.
And I'm Brooke.
And I got deported to Mexico over 5.5 years ago.
And I moved out to Mexico the day after he was deported. On today's video, we are going to continue where we left off from the last one and talk about his first deportation to Mexico. So we'll start off with how you got deported.
How and why?
How and why, yeah.
Okay. How and why, or why I got deported. So the reason why I got deported was because I think it was January 2nd, 2015, or something like that. I was riding around with a stolen gun. I was about to go bust a mission, but thankfully, all of that didn't go through. So as I'm going to drop off some friends, I'm drinking and then I'm speeding as well. And there's a cop and he sees me speeding. So I get pulled over. And when he pulls me over, he's asking me all these questions. And it seemed like everything was going great, but there's an open container in the vehicle. And so that gave the cop reason for him to search the car. And basically, he was going to let me go, but I just have to search the car. And he asked me, is there anything in the car that I should tell him about? But obviously, I'm like, no, I don't know. There's nothing in there. Well, he searches it, he finds the gun, and then they lock me up for the stolen gun. And then from there, it started off a whole bunch of court dates that I had to go through to then finally in February or March, February.
Right when we met, basically, right when we went on our first date. I think it was just a few days after, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I remember telling her something like, you know what, today I have sentencing, something like that. Those times were such a blur because I was just doing some crazy stuff. So honestly, I don't remember all of that stuff too well. Mm-hmm. But my point is that I think February 2016, somewhere in there, I get sentenced. And then in March 2016, so not even, or a month later, then I violate my probation. So then I get locked up for that. And I'll blame her again.
If you've watched our last video, you'll know that he had a curfew that he didn't tell me about. And we went out on a date, and his probation officer saw the photos that we took on that date, and it was nighttime after his curfew. So that was one of the reasons he violated his probation. And just like 3 weeks after we went on our first date, he got locked up.
Yeah. And then also, I didn't just get locked up just for curfew. I had other violations. So it wasn't just that one. So yeah, that's why I ended up getting locked up. And then from there, somewhere in that time that I'm locked up, I end up, or you know what? I think I remember when I told you that I could possibly get deported. So from the time that I get locked up for probation, the violations, I'm thinking they're gonna let me out because when you get locked up, all the inmates in there, they become jailhouse lawyers and they start giving you advice like, oh no, don't trip, you're gonna be good, they'll let you out, don't worry about it, it's your first one, this and that. And so anyways, I'm thinking they're gonna let me go, and I have my court date maybe 3 weeks after I get locked up, and that's when the judge will decide if they're gonna let me out or what they're gonna do with me. So I don't think I had told Brooke just yet that I could get deported or that I'm illegal over there or anything like that. Well, the day comes, I go see with the judge, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, they're gonna let me go. It's my first time. Other people had actually got off, had gotten what's it called? Had got released.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, so
that you would get released too because there's a momentum going.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, oh yeah, me too. I'm gonna have to, they're gonna let me go too. I'm gonna stay out of trouble, but yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. But anywho, that doesn't happen with me. The judge ends up sending me to boot camp, and then I'm like, wait, I'm going to boot camp, and now I'm like, okay, now I'm definitely gonna get deported. So then now, when I come back to the unit, then that's when I told Brooke, like, okay, so I got a secret to tell you. I could get deported, and I explained to her the situation, and I don't remember what her answer was, but then from there, we became pen pals.
Yep. And we wrote each other books.
Yeah. Yeah, and then from there, so from March 2016 all the way up to November 2016, I'm locked up, and then I get deported back to Mexico.
And you completed the boot camp on very good standards, thinking that possibly you may not get deported because there was a situation like that. Someone got released because they did so well, and you completed it. Like
unless they lied to me. Yeah. Right now, just thinking
that happens. Huh?
that people be lying. So who knows what happened? But yes, I completed the program thinking, you know, I could possibly get released, but that was not the case for me. I ended up getting deported.
So what was it like? What happened on your first deportation? Where did you get deported to, and all those details?
Okay. Well, I think I'd have to backtrack a little bit because the anticipation and the not knowing if I am going to get deported, because reason I wasn't sure if I was going to get deported is because I had this the DACA, and basically I had some status out there, and they hadn't deported me before, but this time I'm like in the middle. I'm not sure what's going to happen, and I have to finish my timeout before I can find out. So I'm just thinking on my head like, wait, what's going to happen with me if I do get deported? What is Mexico like? You know, I could barely speak the language. So many things are just going through my head. A funny thought always goes through my head. Then it wasn't funny, but now it's kind of funny. I thought the roads out here were like all street roads, and it was like a third world country. Had never been to no other country other than Las Vegas, which you know, city. Like that's the only just Las Vegas. That's all I knew, and so I would just hear the things. You know, I would just hear things on the news and what people would say. So anywho, I'm thinking, like, man, what's gonna happen? And what if I don't get deported? Then I got to change my ways. I got to reform myself so I get out of trouble. But so, anyways, I end up getting deported, and I remember being once they rolled me up, telling me, okay, you're gonna get released, but deported, the release. It was a long day. Like it was, I think I didn't sleep for the whole day because the whole what's it called? The whole transit it took that long. You know, they woke us up early in the morning. Then from there, they took us to this one unit building, and we were there for a few hours. Then from there, they loaded us on a bus, and I'm like, okay, so they're gonna drive us from Vegas, I don't know where, but instead they drove us to the airport, and then from the airport, we hopped on the plane. Everybody's in shackles, and it just kind of looks crazy, something you see in the movies. And then from there, they flew us to San Diego. From San Diego, they put us back on a bus down to the border in TJ, and then from there they release us, but at the border. And obviously we can't run back. Like it's a specific area where, you know, they're watching you, so you got to go through that border. And then we go through the border, and then the Mexican government, they give you like this, they run your name basically, and if you have any warrants here in Mexico, you're going in. So they run your name, and then also when they run your name, they give you a piece of paper. I don't know what it's called exactly, but basically they take a picture of you. It has your name and your information, and that's your identification, temporary identification, while you get your documents. Because me, I had never been to Mexico, so I had nothing. Yeah. You know, I didn't even have my birth certificate. So, so then from there, I'm just like in my head, I'm just so many thoughts I can't even explain. And if you were in my mind at that time, you know what I mean. I don't know. It was just crazy. Like so many emotions, so many thoughts were going through my head. And then I'm thinking, okay, so where am I gonna stay? You know what I mean? I have no family here. Am I gonna have to sleep on the streets? And at that moment, I'm like, I'll gladly go to sleep on the streets because I'm tired. Like it's been a whole day since I haven't slept, so I'm ready to go to sleep. But then with all the emotions, all the adrenaline going, yeah, it was. I was just like, I'll go to sleep right here. Like I don't care where I sleep. So yeah. But then from there, like I said, the government's right there. We go to the consulate. Thankfully, there's this one place called, I want to say it's the Casa del Inmigrante. So if you don't got anywhere to go, this organization, they'll let you stay there for a few days or something like that while you figure out what you're gonna do. And so, thankfully, they allowed me to stay there, and that's where I stayed. That's where I was able to finally get some sleep. And I remember even getting there, it was like kind of, what's it called, eerie, because I got there late. Like maybe by that time it's like 10, 11 at night, and so it's dark, and basically everybody that's staying there, they're probably all asleep. There was a few people that were up and all of that, and I just couldn't sleep, you know. But finally, I was able to go to sleep. I was just like, I got to get some sleep. So I was just thinking, like, I'm ready to leave. You know what I mean? I don't want to be here. And how can I'm plotting, how can I go back to the States illegally? because I don't want to be here. You know what I mean? I'm just here against my will, and yeah, so it was just crazy. It was a crazy experience.
You were taken to the U.S. against your will and thrown right back to Mexico, but
Yeah,
because of your fault.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's interesting. Just wow. And then, so you stayed there for like one night, right? And then the next day,
And then the next day, got in contact with my uncle, and that I didn't even know was in TJ. My mom somehow came up with this contact with my uncle. I don't know how it all happened, but the next day he picks me up and then he takes me to his place that's in TJ. And I was there for a month. I think in that month, it was in that same month, right, that you came
yeah.
to Mexicali. And yeah, so if you haven't watched our last video, we were explaining a little bit about that in our last video. So go make sure to.
The white girl went to Mexico.
Basically. Yeah. And then from there, I was able to go to Sonora to go see my sister, who I hadn't seen had maybe been like 10 years or something. And yeah, it was interesting talking with her. So something that tripped me out that I'd like to share. I hadn't seen her in 10 years. The last time I had seen her, she was like Americanized, and like I was just like, that's what I was envisioning in my head. When I get there, at that time I don't speak that well of Spanish, I guess. Like, it's probably my Spanish has gotten better now that I've been living here for so long, for 6 years. Back then it was worse because I didn't practice it at all. Like, it was zero practice. My mom, well, she was the only Spanish speaker that I really practiced it with. Anybody else, everybody spoke English, so there's no need for Spanish. So when I get to my sisters, I'm thinking, oh, she speaks English. So I start speaking with her in English, and when she responds back, she has a huge accent, and I'm just like, wait, what happened? Like, I couldn't understand, but now I understand that she didn't practice it for so long. It's almost as if like she lost the language. That
Wasn't she like 15 when she went back to Mexico?
Oh yeah, she was young.
So she was pretty young, and I feel like the younger you are, the more you're going to absorb things. That's probably a big part of it.
But how could she lose the accent though?
Because she's still young and developing, and maybe she doesn't want to have the accent. She's just so used to having. If she tried, she probably could have the American accent if she wanted to, possibly. That's what I'm thinking. I think she just got so used to it because it was a young age.
So you think she's doing it on purpose?
It's natural to her now.
When she speaks in English, to have a.
Oh, I see. Like when she speaks English.
Yeah. Like, no, not Spanish. Like, I you know what I mean? Like, I expect to pick up that accent, but because when I spoke to her in English,
probably not practicing. Yeah.
When she spoke back to me in English, she had a strong accent.
Yeah, I think.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And she didn't have that accent. She spoke just like I did. I might have a little accent now.
Yeah. No. No, I think just because she never really spoke English. Yeah, I think it's because she just stopped practicing her English, and maybe it faded a little. But I bet she would get her accent back if she practiced it.
Probably. Yeah, just like me, when I speak Spanish, I have an accent. Like, people, they pick it up fast. Like, oh, you're not from here, are you? And well, kind of, yes, it's confusing, complicating to explain. So, but yeah, so anyways, I thought that was interesting. So yeah, so then from there, I'm in Sonora. A friend figures out a way for me to go back to the States illegally, and that's what I do. And Brooke doesn't know when I'm returning, so I just get to Vegas and then surprise Brooke.
Yeah, I got out of work. My mom was there to pick me up. My little sister was there too, and then you just show up right there. And well, he wasn't with my mom and my sister. He was in his car, but he was standing outside. And so my mom and my sister got to see this, what would I call you? Stranger type of thing.
Yeah, because I didn't even know her mom or her sister at that time.
Yeah, my mom had just seen you, and you never met my sister. So they're probably like, wait, what? Oh, this is him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very interesting and very crazy. Just pop up in Las Vegas.
You're right.
How did it feel to be back home in Las Vegas?
Like, I'm home? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, being in Mexico did not feel like home, and now being in Vegas felt like I'm home now. Like, oh, this is the place where, you know, I hang out with. I know this city. Like,
This is where I grew up.
it's home. You know what I mean? If you know where's home, that's home. That's just the only way to explain it. Although I came back illegally, it was a total different feeling. Like, it was freedom. Like, finally, I'm free. Although I'm not free, you know what I mean? I got to be under the radar because I'm here illegally. I'm not supposed to be here. But in Mexico, I am supposed to be here, but I don't feel like it's home. So yeah, it was a total different feeling from the first time I get deported to Mexico, or when I stepped foot into Mexico versus my first time coming back to Vegas. It was just complete different feelings, and yeah, it just
You're
felt
happy.
I was happy, yeah, definitely happy, but also scared and in panic. Like, wait,
Paranoid.
paranoid. There you
Yeah.
go. That's the word. I remember being on the bus, just like, wait, what if the cops just come? Like, I felt like everybody knew that I'm here illegally,
Wow.
but nobody knew.
And that's how it's crazy, because that's how a lot of people are feeling right now with everything going on out there in the States. That's why they want to self-deport. So Jonathan understands that feeling.
Yeah,
but obviously what you did, we're not condoning it. We're not praising it or anything at all, because we know that was illegal and ultimately sinning against God, because he's breaking the law. So that's a very serious crime. And I just want to put that out there, just in case people want to say, oh, you're making it sound so great,
yeah,
you know, and it's not.
Yeah, it's wrong for people to go to a country illegally. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what the circumstances, you should not do that. Like me now, being deported 2 times now, like, I'm not planning or thinking of going back illegally, because it's wrong at the end of the day. I'm not supposed to be there. If I could go back legally, I'm there, but illegally, you know what I mean? This is where I am.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going to stay.
He's going to obey the law, but most importantly, after being saved, he wants to obey God.
Amen.
You know, so that's just something I wanted to throw in there real quick, because I know there's people out there who take things out of context.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. So everything I'm saying is not to glorify myself at all. I'm just sharing my testimony, in hopes that people can understand and see both sides. Because some people, they just take one situation at just face value, and they start coming up with their own ideas and thoughts, and then but then there's another side
reality.
Another reality. So
and so you can get to know us as well, and understand our history and our lives,
because a lot of people have been curious, and I think these videos have been long overdue.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people are just curious, like, okay, so you're deported, and you know, what's your story? But we have a video out already, but it was just so fast, we crunched it all up. It didn't have a lot of details, so maybe people didn't watch it all.
And then you have a video in Spanish as well, but it's in Spanish, so
yeah, it's a little harder to dive into it.
And then I'm not in it.
The next video will explain to you what our life was like in Vegas and all that interesting stuff. But with all that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you on the next one. God bless you.